Okay, so get this. We're doing a deep dive on a children's book, right? But here's the thing. It's topping bestseller lists in Brazil, like right alongside adult titles.
Yeah, and what makes it even more interesting is, um, it was published posthumously, so there's that added layer of, poignancy to the story.
Yeah, for sure, like this bittersweet kind of gift. And reading the reviews, people are calling it like philosophical, talking about the psychedelic illustrations. So we really wanted to dig into this, see what's going on. We've got excerpts from the Mix Amazon listing. There's this blog post that really breaks it down, and even some user reviews.
Yeah, I mean, this author, Bartolomeu Campos de Queirós, he was really known for this poetic style, even in his books for kids, like really profound stuff. Just had a way of getting to the heart of things.
So give us the quick version. What's Elefante about?
So basically, it's about this man who dreams of this tiny elephant, like in his hand.
Okay, seems pretty simple, but I'm guessing it's not.
Yeah, exactly. Bartolomeu, he was amazing at taking something that seems really simple on the surface, and then he uses all this poetic language, symbolism, it just creates all these different layers of interpretation.
Okay, I'm hooked, so let's get into it. So we have this tiny elephant in a dream. What's the big deal? Why are people so drawn to this?
Right, so that's where the metaphors come in. This tiny elephant becomes this really powerful image for something so much bigger. A lot of reviewers are calling it a powerful meditation on love.
Love and a tiny elephant. Okay, you've got my attention. Tell me more.
Yeah, so there was this point in the blog post that really resonated with me. The author says, Bartolomeo. He kind of flips the script, right? Because the elephant, I mean, it's this immense and docile animal, but he makes it small. Small enough to fit in the narrator's hand.
Oh, wow. That's such an interesting way to look at it. It really does play on your expectations. Like, you think elephant, you think this huge, strong creature, but here it's small, delicate almost.
Exactly, and that's kind of the whole point. This smallness, it highlights the vulnerability of the elephant, right? And then that becomes a metaphor for, the vulnerability you feel in love.
Like the narrator's holding something so precious, and there's this fear of crushing it if he's not careful. Yeah. And he even talks about being afraid of suffocating the elephant if he closes his hand.
Oh, yeah, that's such powerful imagery. It really gets at that feeling of, when you love something so much, it's almost too much, that fear of hurting what you care about. It's like we instinctively know that love needs space to breathe. Have you ever felt that, with someone you love or...
Totally. I think we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
But it's not just the elephant, is it? There's this whole dream vibe that seems important. The Amazon listing talks about these dreamlike, even psychedelic illustrations. They said the illustrations don't just show the dream, they actually make it bigger, more real. What do you think about that?
The illustrations, yeah, they were done by Bruno Novelli. He goes by Nine Lie too. And they're a huge part of what makes this book work so well. It's like they tap into that place in our minds where dreams kind of blur together with what's real, like how our own dreams feel, those vivid colors, the way the lines flow, it all just pulls you into the narrator's head.
And it's not just the way they look, right? It's what he actually put in the pictures, the moon, the ocean, sirens singing, that kind of thing. It feels really timeless, almost mythical.
Definitely. And these classic images, they all add to this dreamlike feeling, but they also play into the idea of duality that the book is exploring. So you've got this tiny elephant, right, set against this giant ocean, this need for closeness and love, but also needing your own space. It's all happening within this dreamscape.
Amazing how much depth this seemingly simple story has. And the fact that adults love it just as much as kids says something about how universal these themes are. Reminds me a little of The Little Prince,
Yeah, I see what you mean. Both of them get at these profound truths, but they use really simple stories to do it. And yeah, they totally appeal to adults and kids. Timeless for sure.
Speaking of timeless, we can't forget about how Bartolomeo uses language. I mean, it's magical. So simple, but also so profound at the same time.
He really had a way with words. There's this line from the book that always gets to me. No sonho liberdad voa con mais asa, which means, in dreams, freedom flies with more wings.
Wow. That's the kind of line that really stays with you. And it's not just about pretty writing. It makes you stop and think. It sparks your curiosity and makes you want to find your own meaning in all of it.
Exactly. That's what great art does, right? Yeah. It stays with you. It makes you feel things. It makes you ask questions.
100%. Okay, so we've talked about the tiny elephant, the dreamy illustrations, the language. But there's this whole other thing we haven't even touched on yet with this book. So Bartolomeu, he was known for weaving in these little references to his other books, almost creating this web of interconnected stories.
Yeah, it's true. He was really good at that. Almost like he's inviting you to go and explore, all these different stories and find even more meaning by connecting them together.
It's like when you watch a movie you love and then at the end there's that little scene during the credits that hints at a sequel. It makes you want more. Like, what happens next?
And isn't that true of all art, though, in a way? It's never just about what you see or hear right in front of you. It's about the connections you make, how it makes you feel, the questions it makes you ask, even after it's over.
That's definitely true with Elefante. You finish it and you're still thinking about it. It seems so simple, but it just opens up all these possibilities. This whole deep dive has been amazing, really makes you think. But for someone listening who hasn't read this book, what would you say is the main takeaway?
I think for me, it's a reminder that you can find art in the most unexpected places, you know, and that sometimes the smallest things, the things we might overlook, those are the things that have the most meaning.
Like, we need to let our freedom fly with more wings, to borrow a phrase from the book. We have to be open to the experience, to finding all the different layers of meaning. What about you, listener? What are some of those small but meaningful things in your own life? What resonates with you?
Exactly. Being open to those moments of awe and surprise and realizing that even something like a children's book can offer these really profound insights.
If any of this resonated with you today, I definitely recommend checking out Elefante and all of Bartolomeu Campos de Queirós' work. There's so much to discover. This deep dive may be ending, but hopefully it's just the start of your own journey as you explore art, love, and the power of dreams.